In March 2012, several hundred of our nation's fishermen gathered in a park across from the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. to express their outrage over catch shares, a harmful fisheries management program that is being promoted by the federal government. We wanted to hear their stories and let them tell you why catch shares is an issue that consumers should be concerned about. But first, let's explain catch shares. Catch shares, often called individual fishing quotas, or IFQs for short, are a means of fisheries management that is spreading rapidly through the coastal regions of the United States. Catch shares divide the amounts of fish that can be caught in a year into smaller portions called shares or quota. These are typically given away for free to individual fishermen and fishing companies who are able to lease and sell them. Shares tend to consolidate in a small, elite group of wealthy fishermen, granting them control over access to our nation's fish, and forcing many fishermen out of the industry forever. Catch shares can also encourage the use of larger-scale boats, more damaging gear, and wasteful fishing practices that hurt fish populations in the habitats upon which they depend. Essentially, catch share management amounts to privatization of a natural resource and hurts consumers, fishermen, and our oceans.
The problem with catch shares is they represent private ownership of a natural resource. Unlike the lumber industry or the oil industry where you would lease harvesting rights and so forth, most catch share programs actually convey ownership of the resource to individual fishermen.
It's not so much a management tool as it is an allocation tool that rewards those that have overfished the most. And those are primarily permit holders that don't actually fish their boat. They hire other people to fish their boat, and it puts the small independent owner operators like myself out of work.
When you compress that much quota from 250 boats to 60 boats, you've lost 1,000. You have got 1,000 people job loss. Most guys have had 25 years, and 420 guys are still working, but they're getting paid so much less compensation that it hurts the economy.
It needs to be such that it cannot be consolidated and large corporate interests cannot control it. And when it's passed on, it cannot be highly monetized to prevent young men from becoming fishermen.
In my community in Kodiak, catch shares have been very destructive. There's approximately 180 job losses from just crab itself from the Bering Sea.
There's nobody left. There's no young guys.
Like how many boats would you say were working out here?
25 boats out of our dock.
And how about now?
There might be 8 or 9 fishing, and they're just doing it because it's the end of their career to finish. There's no young guys. I'm the youngest captain in the fleet.
There will be no new fishermen. It's over. It's really over for this country. We'll have very, very few entrants into the industry. Number one, because you have big corporations and private people owning the resource. But no bank will ever back a person to build a boat.
It leaves no opportunity for a young guy to come into the fishery and be able to ascend. Even a guy like me that has 25 years in the Bering Sea, I have no opportunity to be able to buy quota without having millions of dollars.
To double the cost of getting into the industry guarantees that no young man can ever be a self-supporting startup fisherman. Corporate interest.
Is the fish or crab that you're buying at the market, is it being caught by someone with the ownership rights that sits at home and makes sharecroppers of the actual labor, the guy that catches the fish? Or is this being caught by a commercial fisherman that holds the rights on his boat and is paying his crew fairly?
Well, first of all, they're paying probably twice as much for their fish than they should. That's part of the big issue. People are going to lose their ability to get high-quality food source and be forced to eat farm-raised salmon and tilapia.
Where's that stuff coming from?
China, Thailand, Vietnam, Chile, Panama.
And how much of it gets inspected?
2%.
2%.
How much of that gets rejected? 70%.